Hi, and welcome to the Y'all Ain't Right podcast. I'm Brittany. I'm here with Tyler and Todd, and today we're talking about camping. But before we get into that, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on all of our platforms. We're on Spotify and YouTube. We're also all real estate agents, so we have some bonus episodes under the real estate playlist on YouTube where you can find all kinds of great content there. If you need a real estate agent in East Tennessee, all of our information is in the details, or you can email us at holler@yardpod.com. And if you're looking for an agent anywhere in the country, just let us know and we can help set you up with someone who's been fully vetted before you ever even talk to them.
I'm glad she gets to say all that.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun stuff.
I'm out of breath just listening.
I might talk slow sometimes, but I can get it together occasionally. So, Todd, you were saying that you've never camped in a campground before?
Yeah, I don't think it's ever, no, I don't think so. I don't think it was ever just like a campground. You know, if we've gone, you know, especially when I was younger, we were just either in our property or someone else's property and stuff like that. Because I grew up in the country, so, you know, it wasn't like we'd go to a park and camp.
So you just go to your backyard?
Or friend's field or back by the stream. And
no tent, just sleep on the ground?
No, we had tents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did the full thing. You know, it was never really a campground. Maybe whenever I was in Cub Scouts or something like that, but that might have been more of their place. You know, it wasn't like going over to the Smokies in one of their campgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe once in an RV we went in a campground, but I don't even consider RVing.
I was about to say, I'm surprised you even mentioned that because I'm sure you don't consider that camping.
My buddy was like, hey, let's go camping. And he was like, we're taking the RV. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really camping.
Yeah.
The most you're outside is around the fire and maybe grilling or something like that. But, yeah, I don't consider that camping.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the only camping I've done is tent camping, too. I've never been in, like, an RV or a campground. The closest thing I've been to doing that is going to one of the KOAs with, like, the little...
That's a campground.
Yeah, but not in an RV. And, like, a little tiny bunk house where you had, like, 2 beds and, like, a tiny cabin, no bathroom, no air conditioning.
I was going to say AC?
No.
That's camping, then.
Yeah.
I really don't think of myself as being that bougie, but you all make me feel like I'm just so bougie.
But I grew up in the country, so it was always like out in the middle of nowhere. You know, we would ride the motorcycles back, or we would take someone's truck back and stuff like that. So, you know, it wasn't like we couldn't see our house or anything like that, or we would have a place down by a stream, you know, a public stream, and we would pitch a tent and grill. And usually for us, when I was that age, we were drinking. I mean, I'll be honest. We were 16, and we were back in the woods, so we could see someone's parents coming along with the car or the truck if they were coming back. That's for how I can't drink rum to this day because that's what I got drunk on, and you know, I don't remember someone's parents coming back, and I was just out of it. But I mean, that was our excuse for camping 9 times out of 10. But it was in a field, in a tent, you know, sleeping bag, no rubber mat, no foam mat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that rock was digging in your back or your
like
thigh
a badge
bone,
of honor.
You know, yeah.
That's camping.
That's camping. RVing, not camping.
Me and friends sometimes, which it's been a few years since we've been, but we'll go to Cityco up there to go camping because you can go to, they've got like campsites by the river.
A campground.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not like, it's literally campsites. You can't see the other people usually, depending on where you're at. And
he's like, we check in, and we get a key.
Sounds like a campground.
There's no check-in. There's no.
Did you have to go on to the national?
No cell phone signal. No available bathroom. Camping.
You had to go in and reserve your campground site.
Definitely not. It was on the ground in a tent, nobody around, camping.
Well, good for you guys. When I was growing up, my grandparents had a pop-up camper, so we would go in the pop-up camper a lot with my cousins. But we also, with the church group, we would go and do the tent camping. I did realize this morning that, like, most of my camping experience, though, I'm either sleeping on an air mattress. Most of the time it was an air mattress. And then the rest of the time it was a little foam topper that you'd put on a bed underneath the sleeping bags. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, I don't really remember being that cold, like, on the ground. And I was like, it's because I don't think I've ever touched the ground while I was camping.
And sorry for all the noise. There's landscaping and like 3-year long worth of construction going on still next door. So you're all the beeping and the leaf blowing.
I
and
think
all.
that was a leaf blower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember once camping. We were rural rangers, which I think is like Protestant church, like Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts. And I remember it pouring the rain and our tent like collapsing, and we all had to get in another tent and stuff like that. But I don't even think that was like a campground. I think it was just we had like 20 tents up and stuff like that. But yeah, it always would rain, torrential downpours. And back then those tents they were canvas with waterproofing. They weren't great. I mean, it was always miserable.
Now, I did go to Red River Gorge, and it wasn't a campground, but I mean, there were a lot of people out there with tents. I don't know.
Is that West Virginia?
Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. We passed, I think,
I know where
$438 Generals on the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Especially for back then. When was that?
Back then, it
How
was
long
like,
ago was this?
It was 10 years ago. Okay.
I feel like now there's a lot more Dollar General.
Maybe a little less than 10 years ago.
I think
they're still multiplying.
They just split, and there's 2 of them, and then there's 4 of them. And I think they procreate. I don't think they get built.
The one in Farragut's fancy, though.
There's like 7 in Farragut. So
But they're all fancy in Farragut because they got to be brick. And
building codes.
Yeah. They're the highfalutin cousins.
Now, glamping. You know what glamping is?
I would like to do that.
I feel like that's what
That's
Brittany
not
does.
No, that's not what I do. You can actually do glamping in Knoxville. There's several places, but there was a really cool place, Strawberry Creek Glamping, and it used to be like a horse farm, like a high-end horse riding farm.
Is it cabins or is it yurts?
So it's like a canvas little looking house.
But it's big.
Like safari tents.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And it's got like a little wedding venue and everything.
Of course. That's
so
actually pretty cool. A friend of mine told me yesterday or day before that him and his partner bought a campground, and they have like glamping and tent camping and then RV parking. So I've got to look into that and figure out where that's at, because that sounds kind of cool.
I've done some signs for somebody that has a campground in Virginia, and then I've done some signs for someone local that has some small cabins for friends and family.
Yeah. Todd makes signs.
They're fancy, though.
People are probably like, what is he talking about? He made signs. He makes signs.
Here comes the
leaf blower.
Leaf blower.
Every time we do this, there's some loud noise going on behind us, and you can't block it.
And we're the only ones who usually hear it. No one else. A lot of times you can't hear it on the.
Oh, you hear it every time.
Broadcast. I don't hear it very
I
often.
always hear it. Every time I rewatch, I hear it.
Because you're on the headphones doing it.
And that's because Todd doesn't have very good hearing.
But when's the last time you actually went camping?
I really think it might have been the Red River Gorge. I really didn't think it had been that long. I used to go camping a lot growing up, and I haven't been forever. I don't know about camping around here, because I saw where there's Elkmont, Ghost Town.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet either. I want to go there, though, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like close to Cades Cove.
Yeah.
Like around Townsend.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was thinking.
It used to be like a vacation destination for wealthy Knoxvillians.
That's what I thought.
And now there's still a handful. I think it was like 20 of the houses or buildings still left that have been restored and stuff. I would love to go camping, but I mean, camping around here, there's just so many bears. There's so many bears. Maybe a little closer to. No, I take that back. The last time I went camping was a couple of years ago. USA Raft. And I just checked their website. It's so sad. So Hurricane Helene took out. It was on the Nolichucky River out in like the Irwin area, Tri-Cities. And the Hurricane Helene obviously wiped a lot of that out. Yeah. So they're having to rebuild it. It's not open for 2025, but they're hoping for 2026 they'll be reopened.
I saw some of the guys open, but
that is some of the most dangerous rafting ever. But you're just taking your life into your own hand every time. But they have little cabins. They've got all kinds of options. They've got tent camping. You can rent a space for tent camping, or you can do a cabin. They've got pop-up campers. They've got, I want to say, like Airstreams. They've got a handful of stuff that you can rent to do that, and then
kind of Airbnb-ish.
Yeah, and I think and the little tent camp sites are right up against the river, so it's really neat. But they book out, so you got to do it in advance.
Does going to Bristol for the race and staying in an RV count as camping?
No.
I don't think that counts.
I've done that 3 times.
I think that's being a groupie.
Twice with an RV. And
that's being a redneck.
Twice with an RV, and then another time we had like a toy hauler that had an AC, and we were sleeping on cots. They hated me because I snored. Put me in an aluminum trailer with 4 other guys after being in the hot heat.
Sounds terrible.
We did have a pool.
Where did you, was it like walking distance from NASCAR?
Yeah.
That's good. Not having to deal with that traffic.
Well, Sunday you have to deal with it because everyone's leaving at the same time.
True.
But I also have left on the night of the race, driving back when I lived in Pikeville, Kentucky. We left one night. It took us like 5 hours to get back home because of all the traffic.
Yeah,
you're better living in it.
Yeah. They would let us out of school the week of the race because we had a Bristol campus.
But twice we took RVs and then the toy hauler. But we also had a pool.
You're better off just pulling the RV over, sitting somewhere, and eating and just hanging out for a little while.
It was funny. A friend of mine, Dad, had a RV. We were going to take it, and then it had trouble with the stabilizers. So we ended up renting one out of Richmond, Kentucky. And I was down here. My buddies were all in Lexington. They came down here, got me. Then we drove up to Richmond, got the RV, and we were going to take turns driving. Pro tip: as soon as you get in the RV, pop a beverage. You are no longer a driver. We all did it, and literally my buddy was all, because he's the one that signed the paperwork, so he had to be the one leaving the parking lot. It was an individual seller. We went online and found them. They rented out their personal one, but like he had to be the one leaving it because he was responsible. And we all 4 of us go, and he was like, you want to see a kid that gets his Christmas present taken away from him? That was it.
He's like, I have to drive the entire trip.
It took me 2 hours in an RV.
Officially responsible.
But yeah, it was funny. But it was a fun trip.
I wouldn't want to drive a vehicle that big. Nope.
I've driven. Yeah, we used to. My uncle had one. It was always fun when you got to underpasses, especially with like. If your mom was driving, everyone gets out. You got your mom, your aunt. I mean, no one that should be driving this 20, I forget how big that one was, 25, 30-foot one, standing outside. Is it going to make it? And then you're like 9 or 10 going back.
I don't know. Keep coming.
Let me drive.
Flag them on it.
They would never let me drive it.
I drive 20 miles an hour.
They're not bad on the highway. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, because we went up over the you ever been to the Veterans Overlook? You can see like 5 states from up there. We went that way to Bristol. But yeah, it was funny.
I'm not a hiker. Or that's not a hike, is it? It's a drive?
It's right there at the I think it's on 25E or West or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But beautiful view, but little engine that could. RV going over the mountains.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drive something that big through the mountains either because there's a lot of pretty tight curves depending on where you're going.
People get out of the way.
Yeah, I bet.
Something that big coming at you.
If they can. And some of those places there's no pull off and no way to get out of the way.
It was a pretty decent sized one, but some of the other ones there, like we met some pretty cool people. Like there was a guy out of Virginia that was beside us, and he had like a 45-foot, like super, granite countertop. That thing had to be so heavy, but it was pimped out. Smelled of weed when you walked in there.
Hey y'all, Tyler here with another real estate tip of the day. The process of buying land can be very different than buying an established home. Before you get carried away with visions of building your dream home, there are things you should consider. You should ask your realtor to check things like the property's zoning type, neighborhood restrictions, access to local utilities, and possible street access. You're also going to want to evaluate any potential land clearing or grading costs and check to see if a previous survey is on file in the county records office. These are only a few of the many parts of this process, and it's important that you work with an experienced agent to help guide you through it. If you want to know more about buying land, or if you have other real estate questions, be sure and give us a shout over at holler@yarpod.com.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and assume, based off of our conversation so far, that neither one of you went to summer camp?
Never.
Okay.
Never went to summer camp. Nope.
I grew up poor. We couldn't afford summer camp if I wanted to go.
Okay. I went to summer camp, but I wrote a letter. And when I was younger, I used to be I was a lot more like Todd. I was pretty lucky. So I wrote a letter. They were having a contest for a free trip or whatever for you and a friend. And so I wrote a letter and I won. So I got to go to camp for free for me and my friend.
Nice.
But it was Camp Appalachian Christian Camp.
Doesn't sound nice anymore.
It was in Irwin.
I was going to say, it sounds like you didn't have to go very far.
No, not at all. But it was, I think maybe I stayed a week or something like that. Cell phone signal was sketchy. I don't even think we were supposed to have our cell phones, but I snuck mine in. It was back flip phone. And yeah, I had a really big appetite even whenever I was younger, and I was like, Mom, they're not feeding us enough. My parents' restaurant was in Irwin, so I'd be like, can you bring some food? I think my mom brought us food like almost every day.
I'm sure the counselors loved your mother.
Yep. And I actually did end up going back.
Unless they were eating also.
No.
Okay, they didn't like your mom.
No, my mom was bringing me cheese fries.
Now, was she sneaking it in, or was she like
no.
pulling up to the gate?
Yeah, just coming up to the front. Like it wasn't a huge camp. It was, you pull into the parking lot and you can see the rec center's in the parking lot, and then you got kind of the cabins and stuff down the.
Yeah, I never went. My younger sister went, and it was like in Findlay, Ohio. That was our big church camp for, I think, Protestant churches or whatever. So it was like hours away. So she'd come back with a little Ohio accent every year for a little bit.
It was pretty epic. There was a pool. I still have a friend I think her mom runs a week or so every year. And so I ended up being a counselor a few years later when I was like 13,
so
like I'm qualified or something.
Yeah, I don't know why I never, if I didn't want to go or what the deal was, but I don't.
I feel like camp counselors don't actually counsel anything. They're just like
not at all
children herders.
It's an extra set of eyes to make sure that someone's not just getting lost in the forest. Yeah. But outside of that, there's nothing. At nighttime, we played. It was Find the Dodo or something like that. They call it some stupid name. I
think we called it something totally different. I can't say
this was a Christian camp. You took flashlights with you, I think, but you weren't allowed to turn them on. So they would take you out into the middle of the floor. And it was older kids, and they were just trying to get the younger counselors out there to freak us out is all it was. And so they were like, oh, you're looking for whatever. And then they would make a noise, and we were convinced it was some kind of bird out there that we were
snipe
looking
hunting.
For. Yeah, that's what it is. Snipe hunting.
Been down this road.
Cow tipping?
You're looking for an elusive bird that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that's so sketchy. Like, it's so easy to get lost in the middle of the woods with no lights.
Oh, that's classic. I hadn't heard that one in a long time.
We played Smear the... I
yeah.
can't say the rest of it.
We called it Smear the Mow.
Yeah, it was something else back in my day.
Yeah.
Not politically correct anymore. Hell, even tag was fun back then, and you get a group of people like that and just freeze tag or whatever.
Yeah.
Hell, hide and seek was fun in woods like that.
we filled up some water balloons. Me and one of my friends had, it was like a slingshot. We filled up some water balloons, and we were chucking them at kids that were playing in the field. We really didn't have any responsibilities, I don't think.
Lawn darts were still a thing whenever I was.
Sounds terrible.
That was the downfall. That's whenever games started getting regulated.
Because of lawn darts.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine why.
It's like the early days of Survivor, like those first couple of seasons, and they're running around with like these huge things, and they're blindfolded with like huge wooden structures running into each other, like bashing their head, and they're like, that one was not a good idea.
We just concussed half the contestants. That is an ultimate camping trip right there, the Survivor.
I want to go so bad.
Could you do that, though? Could you, like, sleep on the sand?
I know that I am such a snowflake. I will admit it. And you all make me feel like more of a snowflake
like, bring
than
the
I already
helicopter
am.
in,
Yeah.
Tag it out.
So
Has anyone just tapped out?
Me and
Yeah. A lot of
Like,
people.
early on, like, I just can't do this?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
Surely.
it's only, before it was like 38, 39 days. Now I think they've shortened it to 26. But,
Soft.
yeah. But there have always been people just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm sunburned. I'm hungry.
Like, early on, though? I mean, like, I'm talking like day 2. Or
Probably. I mean, I'm sure there's people that get out there and they're like, man, this is, no, too many bugs, too much hot. No.
Yeah, I can't specifically remember it.
I could do that, but it would take a physical toll on me. But
I mean,
I could do it. I
10
can
years
actually,
ago, I would have.
they lose a lot of weight and everything,
Oh, yeah.
and it's crazy.
Yeah, I can suck it up for,
A week.
yeah. I can suck it up, especially if I'm distracted, and especially if I'm like motivated by $1 million. Come on.
So
Now I am scared to death of the ocean, and half the time I have
I was going to say 99. I don't remember ever not having an ocean. It always has had an ocean. hasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now they used to switch locations. Now they've got like a
Do they have a
contract with
compound?
Fiji
Oh,
or
really?
something. Yeah. So
like
they do
in
it in
Holland
Fiji,
somewhere.
but like half the time they're like, yeah, swim back from this whatever we just did the contest on, swim back to shore, and I'm like, like getting out deeper.
Well,
than
half the time that's how they
ankle
started,
deep.
don't they?
Yeah. Like in the
Jump
middle
out.
of the I'm like, sharks. There's so
That
many
doesn't bother me.
sharks.
More the sand fleas and stuff like that bother me more than the creatures in the ocean and stuff like that.
So me and 3 of my goofy friends decided that we were going to try our luck at camping without taking tents. And so we were like, okay, let's build our own shelter. And so we built it, and it was cool. And then it monsoon rained.
Of course.
It was the most miserable night ever, because we were literally just sleeping on the ground.
You stuck it out. You didn't just call it a
We
night.
stayed the whole night soaking wet. You're talking about 4 guys huddled together trying to stay warm. It was rough.
How old were you?
We were like 20s, like
Okay.
young 20s, like 20 to.
So you were old enough to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, we could have left.
Or
But,
sleep in the car.
Right.
well, there was like one car because we just kind of all came together in my friend's
Yeah,
Jeep.
but still, you could sleep sitting up.
Yeah. Well, we found some plastic stuff and like random crap in the woods that we were in to throw on top. So we kind of had some. If you
Yeah.
got underneath it, you could get away from it was pretty
So
rough.
basically, this was the beginning of the Greenback Castle.
It was terrible.
You laid the foundation.
Basically.
All the trash.
I don't think I've ever camped where it just went that bad. I mean, I remember the Rural Rangers one where it poured the monsoon and the tent collapsed. But other than that, I think we just went to another tent and doubled up. But I was usually too drunk to. It could rain if I'm passed out. It doesn't matter.
You drown with your mouth open.
I drank
Yeah.
more in high school than I did in college. Put it that way. When you live in the country, you tend to do.
What else is there to do? I mean,
And we always knew somebody older to get us beverages.
Oh, well, this is a tip that wouldn't apply to you guys because you don't go to campgrounds. But I did not realize that. Apparently, you're not supposed to bring your own firewood into most campgrounds. You're supposed to buy it locally because
Yep.
they bring insects that
I knew
are
that.
bad for the
Yeah,
trees.
you're not supposed to go state to state or even probably county to county.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
I get it now that you say it. It makes sense, but
I'm not usually prepared enough to be like, yeah, I packed some firewood.
And I don't think I've ever taken firewood with me. To me, that's not camping. That was always you
have
went
to
around
find
the
your
wood.
own
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went in a hatchet and you found something already down and chopped it up. And,
There's always enough stuff laying on the ground.
I don't remember ever taking. I had to buy firewood the other day for at home just because I'm out of scraps and stuff, and I felt like less of a man because I had to buy firewood.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was trying to practice for Survivor, and I got a machete and some flint, and I'm not great at it. I'm not gonna lie.
If you got something good to start it with, you gotta. Yeah, it's easy. If you got the flint.
Come show me.
It's a little bit harder if you don't have the flint and you got to do the with the bow
kidding.
and the stick and the other.
I've never been able to successfully make that work.
Can we have a Survivor day and you can teach me how to make a fire?
With the flint, it's easy.
Flint
But
is
also
easy.
without a flint. I want to try it.
Without a flint, what are you going to, the stick in the bow? And
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you can. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You just have to have a good something to put it in, like cotton ball or sawdust, or you can even.
Yeah, that's usually how they'll do it. If they're out there, you're whittling off pieces of stick or something.
Make your own sawdust.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm not afraid of hard work.
Find some dried up moss or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the
Bundle of weeds.
without the bow. Just that is hard work.
Yeah, you're talking about making blisters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but at least with the flint.
Yeah, flint's easy. Or magnesium stick.
Magnesium is the best. That stuff burns hot and it ignites pretty easy.
Got
You
some
can buy the-
magnesium supplements.
I don't think that'll count.
All it is a little. I mean, they make looks like a little matchbook case kind of ish.
I've got one. I'm just not good at it.
Just got to get your starter.
Takes a little work.
Little toilet paper, maybe some cotton ball with some alcohol. That's probably cheating, though.
That's cheating.
Like alcohol, 90%.
Yeah.
That's cheating. You're not going to usually have that out in the woods.
Yeah, I had to buy. I went to Ace Hardware and bought a little bundle of firewood the other day because I was done with scraps and I didn't want to start using good wood. Because if I go out there and want to smoke a cigar, I want to light a fire just because the smoke helps with mosquitoes and stuff like that. So even if I'm just burning one piece of wood while I'm sitting there,
Todd's out there burning treated lumber, sitting right in the flames and helling all the smoke.
that's the best for keeping mosquitoes away. No, I don't do treated lumber. I'm using my scraps from said science.
Oh, and did you know Fall Creek Falls is between here and Nashville, Knoxville and Nashville? They actually did a lot of scenes from the live-action Jungle Book out there.
Did not know that.
Apparently, there's a lot of...
Where's that at? Is that down...
It's like headed towards Chattanooga, like near Sparta.
What's that area? What's the big park down there?
Oh, I don't know.
Something with
Cumberland
Falls? No, that's up in Kentucky.
I don't go that way very much.
There's a whole area that's all like waterfalls.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of waterfalls out at
I
Fall Creek
went down
Falls.
there when I first moved here. I just went down for a day to check it out. I can't remember what it's called.
But I bet that would be
I don't know.
really pretty.
Yeah, it's all like kind of weird looking rock and water and
That would be cool. I saw the Bald River Falls. They finally reopened the because they had closed that down and rebuilt the bridge and the roadway, and now they've got a better viewing area and stuff. So they opened all that back up like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go down there and see it, but there was no way I was going right after it opened. You'd never get in; it'd be too busy.
you got Cummings Falls State Park in Cookville.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I've seen
Yeah.
people posting pictures being there, and
But I
I'd
can't
like
remember.
to see
There's
it.
another
I think my parents
area.
went there.
I don't know if that's where I went or not. But it's like that. I can't remember. There's some other name.
There's some really good hiking trails in the Cades Cove area that have waterfalls too.
I hate hiking.
Yeah, well, says the person who swears she wants to hike that
I was going to
place.
say, I thought you liked hiking. I'm so
No, I hate
confused
hiking.
by.
It's a challenge, and I think I could do it. And people saying that I couldn't makes me want to do it even more.
I thought that you liked it because you talk about it so
I
much.
hate hiking.
Rock Island. Rock Island State Park.
all the times that we've talked about the Appalachian Trail on this show and how many times you want to hike it.
Yeah, I really thought she liked it.
And she's like, I don't like hiking. I hate it.
It's an accomplishment to do the Appalachian Trail, but to just go hiking to hike, that's really
Rock
pretty.
Island.
It's like a tiny little Niagara Falls almost.
I love hiking if it's in the fall or the spring when it's not 90 degrees outside.
I don't like the slow pace, like potentially could run into bears.
I was going to say, why don't you run it?
Like,
Get the 2 sticks.
it's so, I don't know.
Nobody's running on a hike.
And then you're just like, you get out there and you're like, oh, there's a snake. Oh, there's a place that was supposed to be a path,
I
but
really
it's
thought
not.
she
It's
liked
hard.
hiking.
Last time I went we went to Coker Creek and went back to where the falls are there, which that's like 2 hours from here. But we literally came across like on a narrow trail with a drop off on one side, a hill on the other side, and there was a copperhead right in your line
See,
of
that's
like.
the story. Every time someone goes,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, this used to be a path, or should be a path, or
When's
whatever.
the last
and then
time
it's like,
you heard somebody get bit, though?
not bit, but
I
it's
picked
just
up
like,
a stick and kind of flung it out of the way, but it was definitely a copperhead. I mean, we almost stepped on it. It was so well camouflaged.
yeah, and you're just like out in the middle of the woods. There's no cell phone signal. If something happens, and it's just like such a trek forever to be like, oh wow, there's a waterfall, and then you walk back. Walking downhill is actually more annoying than going uphill.
It's worth it.
Because it's worse on the knees, and you just feel like you're being drugged down.
We only saw
Helps the
3
glutes.
snakes. We only saw 3 snakes that day, and only one was poison or venomous. So
So if you hike the Appalachian Trail, you're going to have to camp, whether it's in a hostel or...
I'm down for camping. I love camping.
real camping.
She is a... I don't know what to believe.
I know.
anymore.
If it's temporary, and if it's to achieve a goal, but to just like be like, oh, well, tonight we're going to go out and sleep in a sleeping bag and hike for 2 hours. Like, that just sounds awful. But if you're saying, like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people have completed the Appalachian Trail, and
So
Tom's
if we
over
tell you if not a lot of people have hiked to this campground, she's
then
gone.
yeah, it's a challenge. It's a badge of honor. It's something
So we
that
lied
you've
to you.
accomplished.
Is what we're going to do.
I'm very goal-oriented.
We tell you you can't make it
$1
in an
million,
hour and a half.
I'm going to go sleep in the
Well,
sand for 30
I'm
days.
going to have to write a bad check if I tell you that.
I have to find a place on the Appalachian Trail to go hike too, because I got to find that treasure.
Yeah, have you done anything with that?
I haven't went anywhere, but I've been researching, trying to figure out where to start. It's so hard to decipher the clues.
Tyler bought a book that somebody hid. So he's probably rich now because he probably hid one gold bullion.
Oh, no, he hid like $3 million.
That's what he said.
There's
When
pictures.
I write a book,
Right. It would be so easy to not hide any money,
yeah,
but then
we'll take
like
a
write this
picture,
book,
I hid it.
Yeah.
take it back home.
I mean, it's not the first guy to do it. He got the idea because he was hunting for one of the other treasures.
And that guy sold a lot of books.
Yeah, and
Has anyone ever found the treasure?
Yeah.
yeah,
He
it
did.
took them 10
Yeah,
years,
it-
but they did. 10 years
After
for
he
somebody
made-
to...
Although you could say you put it out there,
Oh, yeah.
take it back home, wait 10 years for how many books to sell, and then put it back out there.
I
Let
think I
somebody find
I
it.
mean, you could, maybe.
ChatGPT, write me a book.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
Hold my beer.
There's a lot of... He did use AI to put the clues and stuff into picture format on some of the things because he couldn't draw the pictures and he didn't want to pay anybody because then they would know the clues. And so he was like, I can't tell anybody to draw this for me because then they'll understand. And so he used AI to do it for him.
Google knows now.
Yeah. Well, I asked AI if it knew, but it did not.
Which AI did he use?
Mid-Journey, I think is what he said. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, I think that's it for today's camping
Let's go camping.
episode.
Glamping.
I'm waiting till the fall.
Yeah, I would not do it this time of year. Whew.
No thanks.
I can't. Yeah, no. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling real estate in East Tennessee, email us at holler@yarpod.com.
You can also reach Brittany Hawkins at 423-270-9572, Todd Huber at 865-456-0101, Tyler Letner at 865-816-0076, and Nick Cantey at 865-250-5167. Our office at Wallace Real Estate can be reached at 865-584-4000. Make sure to ask for YARPod. See y'all next week.